Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, Supervisors, Mark Kerslake, happy to be in front of you again to talk about the data center project. Are you sharing now? Yeah. Not going down. Sorry. The page down doesn't. Great, thank you. Sorry about that. The site, I think we are all familiar with, on the very edge of the county. Some images just looking from Anderson Highway, looking eastbound. You can see the Shell station. The trees on site we've had surveyed, they're 60 to 90 feet tall. The transmission towers themselves that are there are 100 feet tall. This is looking, again, eastbound on Anderson Highway. And then looking westbound, on the left-hand side of the image, you can see the Shell station again, and the arrow in the sky is pointing down at the site. Again, a lot of mature trees in that area as well. The data centers we've talked about, they are an economic powerhouse for a jurisdiction, but have very limited impacts. We've talked about that, the significant positive impacts of the ongoing tax revenue, high quality jobs, construction jobs, and importantly, expanding the tax base of the county and diversifying it away from the residential concentration, which is currently about 92% of your tax rolls come from residential taxpayers. I think we know that the site is designated in the comp plan as economic opportunity. One of the stipulated uses in the comp plan for this site is data center, called out by name as underlined there. Also, I wanted to point out at the prior hearing, a comment was made that the project needed to be 30% residential. That's not the case. The excerpt you see here circled shows that commercial uses can be 70 to 100% of the use. We're proposing 100%. So just to clarify that. This, I think, is pretty important. Within the county, there are only 4 areas designated for economic opportunity. They're circled in red. Several of the areas don't have adequate sewer or water, and some of them are comprised of small parcels that would require an assemblage to come up with a large site. So in the entire county, which is nearly 170,000 acres, only 736 acres are designated economic opportunity. That's less than 1/2% of the entire county is designated for economic opportunity. This happens to be one of those sites, and we're kind of in the middle there, right above the word Chesterfield, on the very edge of the county. We're one of those sites, and by allowing development to occur in these limited economic opportunity zones, that also allows the county elsewhere to preserve its rural character by keeping the development where the comp plan directed that it go. Taxes we talked about. Mangum Economics did a study that we turned in showing about $17 million annually in property tax revenue. This helps, again, diversify the tax base and lessens the burden on residential taxpayers and helps the county get to its 85-15% stated goal, the tax ratio between residential and commercial taxpayers. There has been a lot of talk about Page Road and Anderson Highway. And also, let me speak just for a moment about the process of the traffic study. We didn't select the traffic improvements. What we do as the applicant is prepare a traffic study. We have our engineers do that, the Bowman engineers, very well-regarded firm. We turn in a traffic study to VDOT, and actually it went back and forth twice. They had questions. That report was supplemented 2 different times. County staff was involved in that process with VDOT. And then at the end of that process, VDOT approves the traffic study with a series of traffic improvements that they require. So they're not of our making, they are dictated by VDOT. And once that happened, your county staff did a good job of getting a proffer from us to have all those improvements take place before the first building can begin construction. So all of the traffic improvements are front-loaded, and we will pay for them all. Even though at the intersection, the traffic study showed we were 38% of the trips, we're paying 100% of the cost of the traffic improvements. Water usage was of concern of some folks. I have the letter, Ligon mentioned it earlier, that the project will consume less than 100,000 gallons per day, per our mechanical engineer. It'll be an air-cooled facility, not water-cooled. In the area, the county has about 570,000 gallons per day available. The current usage is only about 170,000 gallons. So there's 400,000 gallons per day available in this area. So plenty of water for our project as well as other future uses. And this last point is pretty important. The county is currently flushing 40% of that water because there's no one to buy it. We will help by purchasing that water and provide more revenue to the utility department rather than flushing the unused water, which is what they're doing currently.